Let us continue with number 4. A delta may be any of the following except, so ang hinahanap natin ay negative. So negative answer, hindi patungkol sa delta. So a bifurcation opening towards the core, a dot or fragment as thick as the other ridges, a point on the first recurving ridge located nearest to the center and in front of the divergence of the type lines. And letter D, a meeting of two ridges. So, sa iba dyan na ayaw mag-analyze, ito ang paborito na sagot. So, kaya, unahin natin kung yan ba talaga ay tamang sagot. A point on the first recurving ridge located nearest to the center and in front of the divergence of the type lines. So, itong equation na to contemplates of a particular situation na walang tinatawag na, let's suppose this is the fingerprint pattern. Alam natin when we locate the delta, the area to be considered is this one, the so-called point of the divergence of the type lines. Ito siya. Pero kung tingnan natin dito, wala tayong nakitang ridge. Ang sabi sa rule ng FBI, kung wala tayong makitang ridge in this area, the point of interest,
Pasok.
ang hanapin natin ay doon sa first recurving ridge. Ito siya. That point on the first recurving ridge, ito ang tinatawag na point of recurving ridge. So, a point on the first recurving ridge located nearest the center of the divergence of the type lines. Ito yung divergence of the type lines. Silang area na to. So, that area. So, ito ang tinatawag natin na point on the first ridge. Therefore, ito ang matawag natin na delta. Therefore, this is positive. So, kung positive siya, wrong. Hinanap natin ay negative answer, a wrong answer. A meeting of two ridges. When you say meeting of ridges, we are talking of angle. When we say angle, there are two ridges. So, let us illustrate on that point. Itong area na to. That is what we call as meeting of two ridges. That is an angle. So, ito ang delta natin. Therefore, that is positive, wrong. So, we are left with two choices, A and B. Ang tamang sagot dito ay letter A. Bakit letter A ang sagot natin? Bifurcation opening towards the delta. That is a wrong statement. Ito dapat ay opening towards the core. It's the rule with regard to the selection of delta. So, bifurcation opening towards the delta. So, meron tayong memory aid. In order for us to remember, tinatawag natin na types of delta. So, as to the types of delta, you can easily remember by remembering BREDS. Acronym BREDS. Ang ibig sabihin ng BI, bifurcation. Ang recurving ridge, so ito yung sa tinatawag natin na first recurving ridge. Ang R. Ito naman ay ending ridge. Ito ay angle, meeting of two ridges. Ang D naman ay dot. Ang S ay short ridge. Dot or fragment. May tinatawag tayong rule to remember para bago natin matawag na ang dot ay matawag in the first place na ridge, it must be thick. That is our memory aid when we recall the types of the breads. So, a French anthropologist who devised a system to measure and record the dimensions of certain bony parts of the body is considered as the father of personal identification. lumabas to sa board examination itong statement na to na father of personal identification. So, walang iba kundi si Alphonse Bertillon. Although si Bertillon, later in life siya nag-acknowledge sa superiority sa fingerprint over his own system, tinawag pa rin siya na father personal identification for the singular reason na siya ang nauna in terms of scientific concept. Although nakita natin na it is less scientific compared to fingerprints, but i-compare natin sa mga nauna pang system of identification, mas scientific ang kay Alphonse Bertillon. Let us now go to number 6. A line which is drawn from delta to core in ridge counting of the loop. So anong tawag natin daw, no, ng tinatawag na line? Ridge counting of a loop or extreme left delta to the extreme right delta in ridge tracing. So makita natin siya in both ridge tracing at saka ridge counting. So alam natin yan. So let us suppose ito yung sa ridge counting. So mga babae ha, kung may kamukha nito sa drawing natin, hindi yan sinadya. So huwag masyadong mag-isip ng sobra. So we draw an imaginary line. What is that? From delta to the core. And in the case of core tracing, we draw an imaginary line from left delta to the right delta. Anong tawag natin yan? That is the imaginary line. Number 7, a pattern consisting of a combination of two different types of patterns. So ito siyang isang pattern ha. Isang pattern siya pero that consists of two different types of pattern. In one pattern, may nag-appear na two different types of pattern. With exception of the plain arts with two or more deltas. So, malinaw. Itong pattern na to ay meron daw two or more deltas. Ano kaya yan? So, wala nang ibang pattern na may two or more deltas. It should only be accidental. Ito yung pinaka-exclusive na magsasabi na we are talking of accidental whirl pattern because of two or more deltas. And of course, we could also consider this one a pattern having two different types of pattern. Okay, let us now move to number 8. A pattern which looks like a double loop but cannot be considered as such. Ang sabi dito, cannot be considered as such. Siyang double loop, pero hindi siya makonsider na double loop. Kaya, automatic mali na itong letter D. So, sabi dito, kamukha siya ng double loop, pero hindi siya makonsider na double loop. Because, one side of one loop forms the other side of the other. Because when we say double loop, the very key word to remember there is there are two separate loop formations. Yung statement na yan, two separate loop formations, hindi yan magtugma dito sa statement na to. Ano natin ha? Inconsistent siya because one side of one loop forms the side of the other. So hindi siya matawag na separate. For example, we are talking here, itong concept na to, ito siya, patungkol to siya sa S-type. Ganyan. Para siyang double loop, may dalawang looping formation, pero the one side of that upside down looping formation is the same side of the right side up looping formation. So, hindi siya consistent sa tinatawag natin na separate loop formation. Therefore, this pattern cannot be considered as double loop. Kung hindi siya matawag na double loop, ano siya? Considered siya na plain whirl. Therefore, our answer is letter C.